All right, so welcome to another interview of today. The interview is of Akash. He is son of Dr. Anuj Poddar, who is a doctor, MBBS and MS, and he belongs to Calcutta. His mother is a housewife, and his sister is a doctor by herself. And he himself has done his 10th from AV Convent in 2013 with 78.6%. Then subsequently went on to do his 12th from the same convent in 2015 with 74.8%. He did his degree in education, physical education with 77%, and subsequently he went on to do his post-graduation in the same field, in the management of sports. That is what he has done it on there. Okay. After that, he is a personally working what he calls as a personal trainer, and he has been playing basketball at a considerable level, at a quite a level as such, and he loves fishing and painting, playing basketball. That is though, and working out. He says that is what the interest around there, and he has participated in at the senior state and state level competition, and from 2015 to 2018. He has appeared earlier 3 times in SSB for various options. This time, he is going to Noida for his Coast Guard. Coast Guard. He has already been screened in, and we wish him all the best. Now it's all between Kolkata and Anuj. Right then, I'll be muted. We'll come back at the end. Right.
Right, sir. Yeah. Your name is Anuj or Akash?
Sir, Akash, sir.
Okay. Akash, we just spoke for some time, and I find from your PIQ you have got a hobby, a rare, peculiar hobby of keeping fish, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Or rather, keeping fish as your pet. They are pets,
Yes, sir.
isn't it? Okay.
Yes,
Tell me
sir.
everything about the fish which you keep. Everything that you know about different types of fish, the fishing, how you keep them, what are the various things, gadgets required to maintain fish in your house, and all that you learn, what you learn and what you gain from this hobby.
Sure, sir. So right now I have 6 aquarium tanks right now, and right now I'm working on a specific species of fish. Those are known as African cichlids, and I don't only keep fishes, but I also like breeding them, and that's how I kind of not really earn, but carry forward my hobby. So if right now I'm working on a particular fish called discus fish, and I've still not been able to breed them, but right now I'm trying to breed them, sir. And by breeding them, sir, I sell off those fishes and try and buy more rare exotic fishes and keep them and make a breeding pair, find out the breeding pair, and that's how I carry forward my hobby, sir. And for a fish to sustain those kind of aquarium African cichlids, there are certain parameters which you have to follow, sir, like especially when it comes to water consistency, sir. There is a very fine line when it comes to keeping African cichlids. They have a very specific nitrate levels for the water they breed in. Keeping is a different thing, sir, but breeding them you have to be very pinpoint about their nitrate levels. So that's one thing which we have to, which I keep in mind. And usually other things which is required, sir, is like filtration is very important, sir, for these fishes. Like if the filtration is not very frequent and not very proper, sir, then the nitrate levels can go up. That so filtration is very necessary for this fish, and the diet as well. The diet, they have a specific fish food that comes, which I get to, which is very difficult to buy in the market these days. So these are the 3-4 things which we need to keep in mind while keeping these fishes. And what I gain, what I learn from this hobby, sir, is a very you have to be very patient about this, sir. Like it is very easy to keep them, but it's not very easy when it comes to breeding them, sir. It's very tough to find a breeding pair because there is a very particular ratio in in which this fish breeds. Like it's usually 2 male to 9 females. So you have to buy them when they're young. You have to look after them when they're old, and only then you can get to determine their sexes. So it's very tough to find the ratio. And once you find it, and if you're successful enough to breed them, sir, it's a very rewarding hobby, I'd say.
So you gain only patience from it, nothing else.
So I gain patience, sir, and I gain a lot of knowledge in terms of the hobby, sir. So I get to learn a lot from the particular species I breed, and I carry forward it to the next species which I
But there must be
get.
many things, must be many things that one learns from carrying out a certain task, like say breeding, you learn something else, selection, you learn something. Overall,
Yes.
this hobby, right from buying to collection exotic these fishes, then breeding, then maintaining them, about the tank, about water, about keeping it. There are different types. There's saline water exotic fishes. Then there is this normal water, river water exotic fish. Where do you get
Yes.
these fishes from? The international market, the best market for fishes. You tell me everything about this hobby that you have learned. I would also like to learn from you whatever you have learned. And what do you gain experience through all this hard, difficult process that you go through it?
So firstly, the fish I keep, the African cichlids are freshwater fishes, and the saline water fish is a totally different genre which I have not explored yet. So I have
But they are famous
been
in West
work.
Bengal. The saline water exotic fishes are famous in West Bengal. They're exported from there. No?
So I no, sir, not from West Bengal. So saline water fishes, the exotic ones are usually exported from Singapore and Vietnam, sir.
Not from West Bengal.
No,
At
sir.
least we here in Bombay, we get them from West Bengal.
So the West Bengal, the fishes that come to West Bengal works as a transit point for these fishes for coming from Indonesia and Vietnam and places like that. It lands in West Bengal, and then they might get distributed from here. That's how you hear maybe
Okay,
it's
you
West
may
Bengal.
be right, but the exotic fishes, most of them in Bombay, we import from Sri Lanka, and the saline water we import from
So
West Bengal.
yes, sir, but saline water fishes, sir, they haven't been yet captive bred in captivity in West Bengal, sir. They're
Okay,
captive bred in Southeast Asian countries,
so
but
there
not
must
yet
be
in West
some
Bengal.
agent there who must be doing that.
Probably, sir.
Okay, okay, yeah. So, like, what a little I know people who keep it as hobby. These aquariums, small, in Bombay. Firstly, they
Yes,
are very meticulous in their, they learn meticulousness from this hobby.
yes, sir.
One has to be very meticulous. You cannot be negligent, and it has to be, you have to be persistent and consistent, isn't it? Am I
Right, sir.
right? Yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
like this, you also must contribute to a little bit knowledge that I have. What have you gained?
So, just as you said, rightly said, sir, you have to be very consistent with the hobby, and you, so it's very easy to fail in this hobby, sir. Whether it's keeping fishes, like compatibility factor is also a thing when you keep cichlids. There are certain times when you buy fish, the owner tells you, yeah, this fish will be compatible with the other species, but when you keep, then it's a different thing. So it's a very you have to learn from it, sir. You have to be your own teacher when it comes to keeping fishes, sir. Okay, at times you get to learn a lot of compatibility about a lot of fishes, which the owners also might give you while they sell you the fishes, sir. So there's one thing which you learn, and also, so when it comes to buying fishes, you have to have a good you have to have good bargaining skills when you have to buy exotic fishes, because there's if you don't know about the market, the usual rates which this fishes are sold for, then it's very easy to get scammed in terms of this
But that
fishes.
is the case with everything in life. Bargaining everywhere, wherever you do marketing. Nothing special about fishes. If you have to buy sabji, you might as well know
So,
about it, and then unless you know, you cannot bargain. You know the market, then you start bargaining. Bargaining is there everywhere, isn't it? Even if you go to buy a car, again you bargain there also. So from car to even vegetables, fruits, everything you have to bargain, no?
yes, sir. So, but
Okay,
the
right.
thing is that, yes, sir.
Yeah, you do fishing also. How do you do? What type of fishing you do, and why do you do? What do you learn from there in that part which you don't learn in keeping aquariums?
So I usually go for bamboo fishing, so I don't use the rod and rod fishing, sir. I like bamboo fishing, and so same as fish keeping, sir. You need to have a lot of patience, sir,
No, tell me
with
something.
fishing.
Tell me something different which you learn in actually doing fishing along the river or maybe in the sea. Where do you do fishing?
So usually ponds, sir.
Ponds. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Tell me about what you learn additional or different which you don't learn in keeping aquariums.
Sir, it's an outdoor activity, so I think you have to be a little fit also to be doing fishing, sir, because irrespective of the weather, sir, it could be very tasking as well, sir, fishing. So you have to be physically fit as well, so fishing.
What else?
So, so the I think you have to have a sense of responsibility also, sir. And when I say that, it's because when you're catching fishes and you have caught a certain species of fish which could grow way more bigger than you have caught it, sir. So it should be your responsibility to not take it and just leave it in the pond, sir, so that it could grow out its life. So I think that's also one thing you should.
Okay. Right, Akash. For next 40 minutes or so, we will talk about your education background, your family background, about your hobbies, interests, your reading habits, and things like that.
Sure.
Starting with your education background, tell me from standard 10th onwards, what all subjects did you have? Which all subjects did you like? What were your percentages in various exams? What all teachers you liked and the teachers whom you did not care about much? Tell me about your friends. What you look in a person to make him your friend, other than being your classmate, of course. Tell me about the qualities you see in a friend to make him your close friend. Tell me the extracurricular activities you took part in your school, college days. Tell me your positions of responsibilities that you held during your school, college days, and how did you carry out the duties. And also tell me your sporting achievements in school, college days.
So I did my class 10th from Auxilium Convent School, and I cleared the exam with a percentage of 78.6%. And I did my 12th from the very same school, sir, with a percentage of 74.6%. So I completed my 12th in science with a combination of physics, chemistry, biology, and mathematics. And the subjects which I liked during my school days would be English and physics. And the subject which I didn't like as much would be computer application. The teachers which I liked during my school days would be Miss Sutapa and Kaushik sir and Kaushik Dasgupta, Shantanu Ghosh, So I liked Miss Sutapa because she was more than a teacher to me, sir. She was someone I looked forward to when I went to school, and I liked I liked Kaushik sir because he made English very interesting for me, and I always look forward to his tuitions. And Shantanu sir, because Shantanu sir, I struggled a bit with organic chemistry, and Shantanu sir always made sure that he put in extra effort when it came to me doing good in chemistry. And sir, the teacher I didn't like much. There is no such teacher I would say that I didn't like much, but if I had to pick a name, it would be Miss Pronotika, and she used to teach us computer application, and that's the very reason I picked her, because I never had an interest in that subject, sir. Other than that, the teacher was very good. And so co-curricular activities, sir, in school, I since school days I took up playing basketball. And not only basketball, I also participated in various school tournaments like volleyball and football as well. So and in college days, I pursued with my basketball till present date, sir. And I I represented in junior nationals, sir. I played senior state in basketball for various clubs in West Bengal, in UP, as well as in Mumbai. And I also played junior state for West Bengal. I also participated in senior state in yoga competition, sir, when I was in college, because yoga was a compulsory subject for us in physical education, and through that I got a chance to participate in senior state in Maharashtra. So other than that, so friends, sir, I had a lot of friends in school, but the closest friend I had since school days would be Shaunak Guha Thakurta, Sayantan Roy Chaudhary, Swarnima Biswas. Uh, they're the closest friend I had, and Arijit Banerjee as well, sir. So all these four friends had four unique qualities which I'd like to say when it comes to me being close to them, sir. Shaunak was the most positive guy I ever know till date, sir. Whether anything is going around him, he has always had a positive view about that. He was never pessimistic about anything. The Swarnima Biswas, so she's the most judicious girl I've met. Like, she's very calculative about her decisions. And Shayantan is the most brilliant person I've ever met. Since school days, he has been very good in mathematics, and he completed his graduation from Chennai Mathematical Institute, and he's now pursuing his PhD for Toronto University. And he's the most humble guy as well, sir. And Arijit Banerjee is probably the most hardworking person I have in my life. He is very hardworking, and though he faces failure, he always made sure to get back on his feet and get back with his preparation. And every one of my friends are very trustworthy, sir, and very honest when it comes to me. And they're very honest about their opinion and very open to me. And they also have a very good sense of humor, sir. So, and very lively as well. Other than that, so
Yeah, that's all.
yes.
Tell me, why do you tried for, how many times did you go for SSB, Army or Defense Forces?
So I didn't defense forces. My last FSB for Coast Guard was the only FSB I attended. So I've only
Actually, you only gone
yes,
for Coast Guard so far,
yes, sir.
not for Army, Navy, Air Force.
So I appeared for NDA once and CDS one, and I didn't clear it, sir, the exam.
Why? Why?
So NDA, sir, I was a bit weak, and when it comes to came to general studies, and a little weak in mathematics as well, sir.
Why?
And so my
Why were you
curriculum.
weak? You're going
So
in a
my
good
class.
school.
Yes.
You got the best of family background, as I see from your PIQ. Dad being doctor, your mother is well educated, your sister is a doctor. And why were you weak in academics then?
So class 12, sir, we didn't have polity and history, and so it was tough to balance out. I was playing basketball also at that time, like in national level, so it was very tough to balance out my syllabus and sports together. So I didn't get much of a chance to study for my ND exam. So I did my best I could, sir, but couldn't clear the exam, sir.
Okay, right. So, of all the careers, and you have done your education in physical education, and you want to join the Coast Guard,
Yes,
what's the
sir.
reason?
Sir, I think Coast Guard is not a job but a way of life, sir. And it's
Okay,
very challenging and very dynamic. And I think I'm cut out for that job, for that life, sir. Because me being a sports person coming from a sports college, it had its own unique set of challenges, and the routine there was also very tough. But I always enjoyed it, and I think, sir, this is the kind of life I'd like to lead, sir, because it's very dynamic and very challenging. And I believe that I would get to travel the length and breadth of the country, meet different people. And that's one thing I'm looking forward to. Also, sir, I've seen my grandfather serving in the forces, my dad serving in the forces. I see the respect they garner when they go around in the society and the respect that comes with the uniform, sir. And it excites me a lot, sir, to join the
your
Coast Guard, sir.
your grandfather was in forces. Which
Yes,
forces?
sir.
Which
So
one?
he was in Air Force, sir.
And your dad?
Dad was in Army, sir.
And you have not selected the main Army, Navy, Air Force, and you have gone to Coast Guard. Why?
Yes, sir. So I applied for the exams, sir, but I didn't clear the exams at that time.
Okay. Now that you have selected to join the Coast Guard, tell me about Coast Guard in detail. You have said you will be the most, you will fit in that Coast Guard. So what do you know about Coast Guard? Tell me everything about Coast Guard that you know.
So Coast Guard was established in 1st February 1978. The motto of Coast Guard is Vyam Rakshama, which means we protect. And it was it's mainly concerned the charter of job there in Coast Guard is it's mainly concerned with protecting the offshore artificial islands and uh, offshore projects of the government. When it's also concerned with protecting fishermen. Fishermen is like the eyes and ears of the Coast Guard when it comes to security because they know the local waters well, sir. So if there's any foreign intrusion, they are the first one to respond to Coast Guard. So it's the duty of the Coast Guard also to protect them. Also, the when a fisherman is distressed, the Coast Guards are the first respondents. Then, sir, the Coast Guard is also works very closely with the Customs Department and deals with anti-smuggling operations. The Coast Guard is also the first respondents during a natural calamity in the coastline or the sea, sir. They are also concerned with moderating or tackling pollution in the oceans, and also the ones who deal with uh, preservation of marine ecology. They also help out in scientific researches which happens in the coastal areas, sir. And the Coast Guard is a 20,000 strong unit, sir, with 67 aircrafts, mainly three kinds of aircraft, that is Dornier 228, HAL, Advanced Light Helicopter MK1 and MK3, and the Chetak helicopter. And there are various vessels, sir, like hovercraft, petrol vessel, petrol boat, offshore petrol vessel, pollution control boats. So these are the various kind of vessel that Coast Guard operates in. The rank structure, so the rank structure starts from midshipman, then comes assistant commandant junior grade, then comes assistant commandant, then comes deputy commandant, then comes commandant under training, then comes senior commandant, Then comes the Deputy Inspector General, then comes Inspector General, then comes Additional Director General and Director General. Our correct Director General is the V.S. Pathania. Virendra Singh Pathania is our current Director General in Coast Guard. So that's more or less about it.
Okay. So Coast Guard operates along the coastal coasts of India, right?
Yes,
From Gujarat to Tripura.
Yes, sir.
Am I right?
Yes, sir.
But you said you can, in Coast Guard, you can go length and breadth of the country. How will you go to Kashmir?
Sir, so mainly it deals with the coastal areas. So, but then
It is
terms
only the
of
army which can take you all over through the length and breadth of the country. No.
Yes, sir, but in the when it comes to serving in the forces, sir, there are times when you come to meet across different people from different tri-service forces, and at the end of the day, sir, we meet the people from different area because we work as a unit, sir, the Army,
How
Navy,
does
Air
it
Force, and the Coast Guard.
how does it help you if you meet different people? उससे क्या फायदा है? Meet कर लिया तो बॉम्बे के street में also you can meet all different people.
Yes, sir.
So what's the difference?
So when we get to meet different kind of people, we get to get in touch with different type of culture also. And I really fond of talking to people and getting to know their culture, sir. That's I really like doing that, sir. So that's why.
Then you should be a journalist.
So, but I think I like the charter of work that Coast Guard provides, sir. So I'd rather join Coast Guard, sir.
Okay, good. You have selected a uniformed. How Coast Guard also works along the coast. Navy also works. So what's the
Yes,
difference?
sir.
What's the difference?
So Navy used to work the charter of work that Coast Guard conducts right now. It used to be Navy's duty, sir, before, but since the 2008 attacks, the and the recently the importance of Indian Ocean region, sir, and the maritime influence in Navy doesn't get to concentrate that much, and so that's where the Coast Guard comes in, the void that gets created because Navy deals more with the military aspect of our coastline, sir, and Coast Guard deals with more problems related to the coastal areas, sir. And it's not only that, the Coast Guard and Navy at times also work in work simultaneously, sir. So because at times Coast Guard personnel are also posted in naval ships, personnel are also posted in Coast Guard ships, sir. So it's pretty interconnected, sir. Both their work.
Okay, right. Now we'll talk about your family background. Tell me about your dad, about his job. How are your relations with him? How has he influenced you so far in your life? What are the areas you agree or you disagree with him? Similarly, with your mother, how are your relations with her? How do you help her? Tell me your relations with your sister. She's a doctor and very, what do you call, very good or very high-ranking profession in our country. Tell me, how does she help you and how does you help her? What are the differences you have and how do you resolve it?
So my dad completed his MBBS and MS and currently is a doctor. So my dad was serving in the army as well, but he was there for 5 years on short service commission. He retired as a major, sir, and he also in the 5 years that he served in the army, he was posted in Siachen Glacier, sir, for Operation Meghdoot, and also in Jammu and Kashmir. and he retired in Binaguri cantonment, sir. And then the first thing that I learned from my dad is my dad has always been very hardworking, sir. And the stories that he tells me about his struggles in his early life, how he completed his education, because though my grandfather, uh, though my dad belonged from a very decent family, but my great grandfather wasn't able to provide for all his children because he had three brothers, and my dad has two other brothers and four sisters. So it was very tough to balance education and family together, sir. But my dad was able enough to rank ninth when it comes to all India medical examinations and complete his studies on his own. And he joined the forces, and that's a matter of respect for me as a son, sir. And that's one thing that I really look up to at my dad. And one thing which I disagree with him, me being a physical trainer, sir, so my dad has very bad food habits, and that's one thing I disagree with him, sir. And I try and make my dad eat as healthy as possible. My dad has started inculcated running in his routine, but I hope I'd be uh, successful enough to help my dad get his routine straight. And my mother, sir, my mother is a housewife, but he completed his bachelor's in English, and my mother is also a C certificate holder in NCC, sir. And things I look up to with my mother is that my mother has always been my support system, my pillars, in everything I do. She she has always looked up to me and my sister, and whatever decisions I've taken since the very young age, sir. It's a lot of friends ask me that your father being a doctor, you choosing physical education, but my mother always looked up to my achievements that I've achieved in the field of sports, and the prospects that me joining physical education and then completing my master's degree in sports management, sir. My mother has always been by my side, never questioned my decisions, sir. And one thing hope I help my mother with. I don't agree with my mother is on her routine, sir. She doesn't get enough sleep, sir. So I hope I try and help her out with her routine so that she could get better sleep at night, sir. So she and my sister, sir, my sister is not a doctor yet, sir. She's still pursuing her MBBS in college, and because of her routine and my routine, so we don't get to interact that much because she is most of the time. And right now, her internships are going on in the hospital, so we don't get to interact much. But whenever we do interact, we do interact on a lot of similar interests that we have, so whether it is movies or any series. And also, I always try and take in everything she has to tell me, because I'm very fascinated about the way of her internships, sir. So I always am open to her experiences. I always hear them out, sir. And uh, passing time with my father, sir. Same with my father. I don't get to interact much with my father, but whenever I do, we discuss on a lot of things going in and around the country, around the world. And sometimes my dad gets very tired going to the hospital, so I make sure that I drive him to the hospital. And with my mother, so me and my mother interact a lot on various topics. I help her out with her uh, routine if she needs any help, and also if she wants to get something from the grocery, I help her out with that. So we also at times on off days we we watch a movie together. That's how I spend my time with my mother. So that's it's a
Okay. Tell me, what do you do in your spare time? Of course, you have told me about your fishing hobby. Tell me about basketball in detail. Where all, what all, how do you play? Right from the time you developed interest for basketball till the time you went to the nationals, and thereafter, what happened? Why couldn't you do further well in basketball? It's okay, you played basketball till nationals, but your dad being, such a good in academics, you getting 78, 75, 76%, I don't think in your generation is good enough anywhere to say even satisfactory. Why so? And tell me about your reading habits as such.
Basketball, sir, I never took up basketball since a very young age. I used to play cricket, sir, and I started playing basketball when I was 8 9 years old. When I started watching the sports channel, sir, I came across basketball, and that's how I grew interest for basketball. But in our school, it's only lunch break that we get to play basketball, and when I went to play, the seniors kicked me out because they thought I wasn't good enough, sir. But at that time, YouTube was very new, sir. So I started going to the YouTube, watch it. I used to watch basketball practice videos, drills, which I could perform to improve my skills, sir. So my school used to be over around 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And every day after school, sir, I stayed back after school and practiced for 1.5 hour every day. And slowly and steadily, sir, with time, I started getting better in basketball. The seniors started accepting me, and year and two, sir, I became the captain of our school team, sir. And that's how I also got to. I went for trials in Sports Authority of India in Kolkata, and I also got in the trials, sir, and I started practicing there on a regular basis, sir. And after I finished my class 12, sir, I got selected for the junior nationals. I used to play for a club before that, that was Chhatra Samiti. And during our senior states, sir, after senior states, every club sends 2 to 3 players for trials in junior nationals. And that's how I got to give my trials for my nationals. And that's how I got selected, sir. And since then, sir, in college, sir, I used to be the captain in our inter-college team. So, but I never got to play senior state because usually when it comes to trial in senior state, I was always busy with my college, and the college was very strict when it came to attendance. So I never got a chance to come and give a trial for my senior nationals. So I kept on playing in my college, as well as balancing out my studies there. So, and studies, sir, because of my habits, sir, in class 12, sir, when I was putting so much effort in basketball, and also maybe that's how my studies got a bit hampered, sir. But that's how I couldn't score high percentage in class 12, sir.
Yeah, reading habits. What all do
So
you read?
reading sir, I'm reading habits, sir. I'm not much into reading books, sir. If I read, I read the daily newspaper, and I read a monthly magazine that I have take that's competitive success. That's the only two things that I read, sir. I want to inculcate the habit of reading slowly and steadily, sir, and I have been trying to do that pretty recently, sir.
You have not read a single book other than your academic books so far?
No, sir.
Okay. So which newspaper do you read?
So the Hindu.
Did you read today's newspaper?
So today's newspaper I didn't, sir.
Yesterday?
Yes, I did.
Which was the news which was the most important news you think you read yesterday? And tell me everything about that news.
So the yesterday's news, the budget was announced the day before yesterday. So yesterday's newspaper was a detailed analysis of the budget of this year, and the main thing that came out with this year's budget is that the tax slab, sir. So it used to be the people used to be taxed till the tax slab used to be had a limit of rupees 5 lakh, but this year it exceeded up to rupees 7 lakhs. And the main highlights of this budget was the most amount of defense got the most amount allocated to them, sir, which was rupees 5.94 lakh crores, with the second most allocated department was the consumers department, sir, if I'm not wrong.
Tell me, how is it going to affect you?
So firstly, sir, the first thing that comes out with this budget is this year the country has allocated a lot of amount on the capital budget, sir, and which shows that the current government is focusing on infrastructure and growth more. So we could say that our country in recent times, the infrastructure and there's going to be a lot of improvement in infrastructure, and with infrastructure there comes a lot of job opportunities as well, sir. So in the upcoming times we could see a lot of jobs being generated as well, sir. And yes, sir.
Okay. Tell me about the war in Ukraine in details, right from its history, background, and what do you think is likely to happen in future?
So the history of war, sir, it dates back to the year
Ukraine war only. What is the
Yes, sir.
background? What is happening? And what do you think, how the war is going to come to an end, or will it come to an end, or what will happen in future?
So in 2013, the president of Ukraine, Viktor Yanukovych, had had didn't agree to sign on the European Association to agreement on European Association, because and that was there was a huge upheaval in the country at that time, that the president was biased towards Russian Federation, and in 2014 the president was impeached, and since then there was a new president that was appointed who was very biased towards his association to the European Union, seeing that Russia attacked the southern island of Crimea of Ukraine, and when the southern part of Ukraine was liberated, the eastern part of Ukraine, that was Donetsk and Luhansk, also wanted their own independence. And that's how started the first conflict during 2015, sir, which was dissipated by Minsk Accord, where US and the European Union came up and initiated the ceasefire. And recently, sir, when Ukraine tried to join forces with NATO, sir, Russia declared a military operation which turned out to be a full-fledged war, sir. And Russia and Ukraine war conflict is still going on, and it uh, it it will only stop, I think, sir, if once the European Union and US stops coming to an aid to Ukraine in terms of weapon allocation and providing them weaponry. If they don't, if the European Union and US doesn't stop their mm, provisions to Ukraine, then I don't see an end to this war, sir, because I don't think Russia is looking forward to conquer Ukraine, but its main motive was to stop Ukraine from joining the NATO forces. But as long as the European Union and US keeps supplying Ukraine with this weaponry, I don't see an end to this war, sir, anytime soon.
Why is Russia so interested in Ukraine not joining NATO? What's
So
his
because
interest?
if NATO
Ukraine is an
force,
independent country. It can join whichever forces it likes.
yes, sir. But during Minsk Accords, sir, they had a pact where there was specifically they had mentioned that they wouldn't join any alliance which would uh, degrade the security of the other country. And if Ukraine turns out to join forces with NATO, sir, then it would be a huge security threat to Russia, given the fact that there has been always been a huge conflict between the Russians and the States, sir. So if Ukraine join forces with NATO, sir, it would be a huge threat to the Russians.
Okay, good. So how's India is affecting India?
So it's affecting India because Russia has been always been a long time tested friend of India, sir. And right now, in time of need, India has shown its support to Russia, not obliging with the sanctions with the European Union and United States have been putting up on Russia, also buying oil at a discounted rate from the Russians. And as a result of that, there has been a lot of backslash from the Western countries. And they have also threatened India that they would sanction our exports as well, sir. But India is handling this very diplomatically, the situation right now that's happening.
Okay, right. Now you are doing physical trainer individually or some through some institute or some
No, sir,
organization.
I personally train. Right now, I'm training 4 clients at my nearby gym, sir.
Okay, so these clients you are getting through yourself personally, nothing to do with anybody else.
No, sir. So in the gym, so there are a lot of clients which see me working, helping my clients out with the workout. And if they're interested in working out with me, availing my services, then they go ask the manager about it. And at a time, I only take up 4 clients. So if one of my clients doesn't want to continue with the training, sir, so that's how the other clients comes in, sir.
Okay. Say you have a tiff when one client is not happy with the way you train after about say month or two, and you have a tiff. How will you resolve it?
Sir, I didn't get you, sir.
You're training a client, right? You go to
Yes,
their
sir.
house or where do you train them?
So at the gym, sir.
Gym. Okay. So in the gym, when you're training, after a month or two, he's not happy with you and he starts arguing and you have a differences and you have a tiff. How will you resolve it?
Sir, I'll resolve it by mediation, sir. I'd talk with them about what's bothering them, and I'd
He's
see
already
if I
told
could.
you that
Yes, sir.
the argument starts with that difference is what he finds, which you don't agree. But he is adamant. He says, no, no, you are a bloody useless chap.
Yes.
Then what will
Sir,
you, how will you resolve it?
then first I'll try and calm that my client down, and I'll make sure that because he or she is not happy with my services, sir, I'll make sure that they get compensated for the rest of the month, sir, so that they don't get to be disappointed with my services.
During the argument, he gives you one sock on your face and he says, bloody useless chap, you shouldn't have been here in this gym at all.
Yes, sir.
Now
So
what will you do?
I won't reciprocate that way, sir. I would just
No,
try
what will
and
you
talk that
do?
person.
My question is, what will you do? I don't want to hear what you will not do. Have you
Yes, sir.
found, have you really understood the difference? I
Yes, sir.
want you to tell me what you are going to do now. He has given you a blow on your nose.
Yes, sir. Sir, I'll still talk that person down, sir. So I won't do anything to that person, to my clients.
He is abusing and trying to hit you again.
Yes, sir. I'll sir try and try not to get hit again, sir. But I will still try and calm that person down from
After
hitting me
about a
again, sir.
minute or two, again he gives you another blow on your stomach.
Yes, sir. So then I'll go inform the management about
He doesn't let
the.
you go anywhere from there. He
Yes,
says,
sir.
"Bhagta kidhar hai? Very darpok."
So I'll try and restrain him, but not violently, sir. I'll just try and restrain him, sir, so that he couldn't hit me, and try to calm that person down, sir.
He's already succeeded in hitting you twice.
Yes, sir.
Now what?
Sir, I'll still talk to that person and calm him down, sir. I won't hit him or hit him at all, sir.
You will not hit him at all.
No,
This
sir.
time, the third time he kicks you.
Yes, sir.
Now what will you do?
Sir, I'll try and restrain him, but not
He's not able
resort
to
to violence.
restrain. He's hit you on your nose. He has hit you on your stomach. Now he has kicked you also.
Sir, I'm confident enough with the clients I have, sir, that I'd be able to restrain them, sir, physically at least.
How? What will you do? That's what I'm asking you. How will you
Sir,
do it? What
I'll hold,
exactly will you do it?
sir, I'll hold the limbs, sir, but and try and hold the limbs, sir, so that they couldn't hit me and talk it out, sir.
You can't hold four limbs, friend. Can you?
So, but I'd like try and restrain him, but not. I won't resort to violence or whatever he or she does to me.
Even if I'm saying again, he will again kicks you fourth time.
Yes, sir. Sir, I'll
And
ask him not to.
you are always on the ground, almost on the ground, about to fall down.
Yes, sir. Sir, I'll still try to calm him down, sir, and not resort to violence.
Okay, right. Now, hearing you being a basketball to the nationals and all, so your neighboring school principal calls you. He says, "Can you organize an exhibition match on their annual anniversary day? You have to select two teams from their, senior classes and organize the exhibition match on their annual day function. Tell me what all planning will you do, what all assistance you will ask from the principal, and how exactly will you conduct this exhibition match."
So first I'd make a team of four, sir, from my class. So the team of four with like-minded people, sir, who are into basketball or into organizing events, sir. And I divide the responsibility to every four of them. Firstly, I'd allocate a budget for the tournament, starting from the fees of the referee, the officials which we are going to hire, the prize money which is going to be there for, or if not prize money, at least the trophies which we are going to buy for the winning teams, and also some money for refreshments. And the basketball ground, as it's a neighboring school, they have their own basketball court. So it's already there. So I'll probably take up the responsibility of the budget, and firstly allocate every participants who are going to take part in the competition. I would allocate certain amount to them, maybe 100-200 rupees per head for participating in the tournament. And this once I get the money, I would I would first look for officials who are free for that given time for that given tournament and negotiate how much money they would be charging for a single match, because it's going to be only two teams for a single match, how much they would be charging. And also I would send some other person for buying refreshments for that day, and the third person could be the one who could be organ calculating the timings of the team tournament, if it's going to be a whole 40 minutes game or a 5 minutes game, depending upon the uh, time which is given to us for organizing the event. And also that person will be tasked to let the participants and the principal know about the how we are going to conduct the tournament. And and I would allocate another person to buy a few first aid materials just in case we need during the match. And that's how, sir, I'm going to organize the tournament.
Right. It's been nice talking to you. I've asked you a number of questions. Do you have any questions to ask me?
No, sir. Good, sir.
It's good. Right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. I finished.
Okay, I think before I hand over to you now, there's just a few, I don't know, the person is the first and foremost, you know how to speak, so that's happiness around there. And you should be able to sell yourself. First, you started off very first question that he asked, what are the advantage, what learning you have got from your fish keeping and fishing? I know you could have gone into a lot of details, since you're so much fascinated by it, which you have not done it. It could have been patience, perseverance, loss, problem solving. Both सारी को कहाँ पर है, pleasure, relaxation. You know, it is health itself. You're as employing your time productively. What is it? What he asked, what is learning? Is a time utilization, is it? I think that's what I would more about nature. You get closer to the nature and all those things. Those are the things which have to be answered around there. You didn't really go, you really got into one small aspect. Secondly, even for the fishing part, when you go for what learning do you get from fishing? Fishing is you have to spend a lot of time, isn't it? Is it or not?
Yes,
Patience and perseverance, which you talked about, but that goes to both. I think that's nothing wrong with the system around there. Beyond that, you have to go for, where will I get it? What are the timing the fishes are available? What are the problem solving coming? Because many times you go, they spend a lot of time, you may not even get a fish. How do you get around it? So that there has to be learning. You must really be, there I found you were not very, you could have been much more on the ground, talking about it, which should have given, which none of the point. You just going around the bush. You didn't really talk about anything much about it. Then we're talking about the very first CIP went into ask for the teachers and asked, you straight a jump from question from one to the last one. You started talking about your co-curricular activity and all. When you start with the teacher, then subjects, and then friends and close friends and all thing you talked about it. You should have gone more sequentially. See, it is not necessary that you remember all the questions, but at least what he always puts across, you may not remember all, at least 80% you remember, but you try to and answer them in the sequence that he asked for it. You try to jump across from there, and there's a coherence. I always maintain the word coherence. Coherence is what you should sequence. Coherence, laser is a coherent beam of light. Every step should be towards. Your aim should be what? To project your 15 quality, not talking. It is not talking which matter, it is your projecting your quality which is more important. They say even if a person talks for 4 minutes around there, and you can find out roughly what the person is. And these people who are there, who have been in this particular field for so long, they have whatever thousands of people around there. They will exactly, by talking for a few minutes, they exactly know what is to be and what is not to be done. He has to find something extra into you so that he gets motivated to ask you most questions. That's the motivation is there. So the energy which is required, and that energy from himself, he is duty bound to ask question. He is asking, and since I had requested him, to be go in material, he has tried to go in detail. That's all. But the energy which is required, which he feels associated, that got, I was not very happy about it now. Then we talked about, when he gave out, later we gave out why they are friends. Initially talked there, he is very positive, judicious, calculative, brilliant. So he may be brilliant. That then means he becomes my good friend. Is it? No, but later you did talk about they are trustworthy, honest, and not liveliness. That you came back later on, that part of it. So though the intensity with which you talked about your friendship around, it should be much more, intense. So why are they friends? That those qualities should have come back onto the system. Okay. India, you rightly put, because you don't have to be, it's a past. You have appeared in the examination, you couldn't afford it straightway. You rightly put, because I was more into my studies, and well, that is a part I should have been given more priority. That's the end of it. You cannot justify anything. You have, as rightly put, you got 76%, 76% not a good score by itself. And that certainly indicates that sense of responsibility at that time was missing. You couldn't afford to prioritize what is there. And secondly, you then have one influence which comes back from your father won't have been happy with your performance going into the field of sports and other activity, not in studies. But you already talked to my mother, always backed me up. That certainly indicates, that leaves you one question at the back of mind. There's something amiss. Your father, you never talked so much as you talked very, you got very, you associated with the mother was much better than with your father. That's a clear indication there's a difference. There's a certain amount of difference. You talked about your father, you take him to the hospital or to the prescribed car so that he saves time, and you are trying to change his food habit so that he becomes, that's all. You didn't talk about it. And then you did talk about after when he finds time, we talk about all things other, national, international, all the news and all the rest. What are the other things? Well, how do you get associated with that? That association is most important. There was warmth in when you talked about your mother. There was a bit of warmth when you talked about sister, but the warmth which you required with the father, it really didn't come out. It didn't really come out. I know he will be in a position to tell that around there. Okay. Then the very first question, we are trying to join Coast Guard. Coast Guard, what is responsibility? There's certain responsibility, there's distinct responsibility between three. There's they call a marine police, which state government gives. Marine police is also there. I think Mumbai has got it. He will build up. Then after beyond there is certain, then they go to the Coast Guard. There's up to, I think, there's 10 kilometers from the research. From the coast, there's a 10 kilometers. And beyond that, it Navy takes over. Navy takes over. Overall responsibility for the security still remains with the Navy. Mind you, they are the support. They have got a zonal period that remains. That's a separate issue. And secondly, the second job of the Navy is coastal security, maritime law enforcement, monitoring the maritime responses, maritime prevention. So there the list of duties are there. And we should be able to you should be, if you can't answer that and you're going for organization, probably that done augur well. Well, as far as you talked about a good thing about your father, that he's hardworking, where that's one. Beyond that, what? What do you learn from your father? One, if you're hardworking, there's something that you have to talk about. What are those qualities? What is he talk about it? Well, you could have handled that situation of where he gave the situation where you get hit and all things that he could have handled better, and you became that so the certain amount of rigidity. I will always hold his limbs and all and he's insisting on to it, and well, that's the end of it. The aim is what? Whenever you speak, every word is a resource. That's what I feel about it. And from those words, he should be in a position to infer what are the qualities you have got it. And until you show that, that's of no use. That's exactly what I am talking about it. Okay. So now, even the planning, you can again, what is the planning? He says you should be able to plan a match. First, what is the first thing required? Date and time. Is it or not? Have you finalized the date and time? No. You want to talk to yourself. When you do the planning, you have the date and time, the fundamental. Kis din hona hai? That is the first thing, is it or not? Then you go about beyond that. They're okay. How many people will be coming back? Who all expected? So that you have to interact with people. How many people will present? So you have to make arrangement. It's not only the match which is going to be played. You have talked about money. You have talked about. We'll talk about it. We got 4 friends with this sponsor. All this comes later on. You ought to be more detailed and go sequentially one after another. And you have been in the sports management, you have done management in sports, and you can't afford to leave it to know. We are not management experts. You have got support the sports manage your field. And you have to score. This is a no. जैसे बोलता लड्डू दिया हुआ हाथ में उन्होंने लड्डू दिया लड्डू तो खाओ यार. Eat it as much as you can. This is your field. Overall, there is nothing negative about you. Whatever has passed, you have not done very good. That's the past will remain. You cannot change it. But yes, what is the reach? He always says, what is the road ahead? Road ahead says, yes, that I have got no grip, but from there, I am doing sports around there. Now you're still struggling. Problem comes up with your, even with the, after having done your post-graduation in sports management, you are still struggling to find your own goal and direction. That's the main issue. And that will have to be handled because the interviewing officer must really understand what is the aim, why do you want to join. And when you talked about why do you want to join a Coastal Guard, yes, uniform and all that's some of the points are quite relevant, fair enough. But why, what are other, if you not this, where? How are you going to go about it? Well, earning only 20,000 rupees only for having 4 as a system, as a coach or as a trainer, then serve the purpose. You should really go the road ahead. देखो ऐसा है ना, it is, you have to, जैसे मोदी की तरह अपना सपना बेचो, सपना तो बेचो, सपना तो देखो ना यार. Where are you going to go? I think I leave it to Kadam, I think, to sum it up around there. He is a better person to the system. Okay. Right, sir?
Right, sir. Right, Akash? You know, with your background, your age, the expectations are much more. Okay? If it is a boy at the age of 16 going for interview to join NDA, then the things are 180 degrees different. They are absolutely, if he is from Calcutta and if he is from a village near Amravati where you studied, the expectations are far different. So you have been one of the luckiest people in this world to be born in a family like yours, staying in Calcutta, okay, and getting best of education that was available for you or your interests in the country, Amravati and then Bombay. Do you think there will be, what percentage of your generation, and forget Asia, talk in the world, will get such chance to educate themselves till the age 26? Okay, there's much more expected out of you. If I ask you about fish and your hobbies fish, you must be able to tell me about all the fishes, what all equipment is required, what all you learn from it, everything in detail. Thereafter, similarly, your parents, of course, Colonel Prasad has analyzed it very well. Your father, I would have been very proud. My dad was major. I would have written Major so and so in the PIQ. I would have been much more proud than what you are, I feel. Okay? So defense forces, it's okay. Coast Guard is in defense forces, but it has is a limited area along the border they're responsible for, and they're under the Indian Navy. To join, to see length and breadth of the country, then Coast Guard is not the thing. Your understanding of things are slightly different or slightly haywire. It's not correct to join this thing. If you want, then it should have been either Air Force, Navy, or Army. Much more Army, because Air Force also gets limited to the airfields, other than their missiles, of course. But even Navy, at least you can go all over the world with Indian Navy, not with Coast Guard. Okay, so your reasoning little bit more mature, more this thing is required in that sense. Academics, moment anybody sees in your generation, you see my generation, if we got even second class, that means we were hell of a lot we have done, very extremely good in academics. In your case, distinction 75% above is still not good enough unless it is above 90%. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
How much did your sister get in 12th?
So 12th, she scored around 86%, but she was preparing for NIIT NET exam for medicals, and that's what she cracked.
No, you see, nearing 90% is something one can, getting itself in a medical college itself must have been very tough for her.
Yeah.
But whereas, your case is different, and you're the elder son, and answers everything, right? Up to, you have written here PIQ also, any duty, any general duty you want to do. So that is this little casualness right from your marks to answering the question about education background. At least 10 question you should be able to write answer in a sequence.
Even till today, when you look at it,
I agree. I agree with you, sir.
even to today, it doesn't give the total that it doesn't give the happiness that yes, a person is trying to get into that. He has to sell himself. That is the product.
Yeah.
It is his.
You have to show a little more of your age, responsibility, and maturity, and little more selling yourself, presenting yourself. You have to present correctly and correct. At one point, you said fisheries hobbies is very easy to fail. That shows little negativity in you. You could always say in this, to succeed, you have to do so many tough things you have to do. That would be a positive way of telling things. Right? Have you understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Then fishery, fishing.
And the word that he used, the bargaining, and you admit that is a key word which he shouldn't have used that. And that bargaining itself pushed you in a very negative note. Any person interviewing also is used the word. This I call it a Freudian slip. No, by mistake you have put the bargain as the word. And when you come back later on, when he asked the last question that if there's a few difference between opinion between your client and what will do it, that bargain still comes into play there. Same nature is coming right till then. Keep guard what you speak. Word is a resource.
With your height, age, and the liberty and the opportunities you have got, you should have got more outdoor, sports, trekking, everything you should be doing outdoor activities. Fishing is okay. Fishing for me or my age, going for fishing, hobby, it's okay. But I don't think though it is outdoors, but I don't think it is for a young man like you who is wanting to join the defense forces. Defense forces is for sportsmen and everything. You have done national basketball, but I didn't find any of those things you have learned from that or your traits in that. You must be very lucky to have gone into the national level. Otherwise, as a sportsman, which I have not even gone to, I was only in the school team, but I developed much more different hobbies than what you have developed. Okay. Or people generally, I have interviewed so many people. Any sportsman, he develops absolutely different, not a hobby like fishing or collecting aquariums. Those hobbies. So to me, from your talk, from everything, there is nothing that you have gained from the basketball national level.
Worse is the reading habits. Worse is the reading habit.
There's no reading, not in a single book you have read.
Person is known by the books that he reads and the friends that he keeps. That's the two important things which are there.
Yeah. So that way. now fighting. You're a young man, very good. Sports management. You're done in sports. Physically, you're absolutely fit. You have done yoga. You go to the gym, everything. And a chap hits you your age. It's okay to be mature. Yes, I will not fight. I'll not get violent. He is my client. But there has to be some limit. He has given you 2 blows and 2 kicks, and you're still talking about vehemently talking about कि मैं कुछ नहीं करूंगा, मैं कुछ नहीं करूंगा,
अरे
मैं
उसको
कुछ नहीं
पकड़ के जाकर पुलिस का थमाओ, बोले का तू, you may not hit him, that's okay, पकड़ो, पकड़ना तो करना, you have to save yourself. You can't be doing the hitting yourself. मैं क्या रखना, पकड़ना है यार, मारूंगा नहीं. That's not the solution.
You can just say कि one, yes, I'll take it because I am the instructor and he is my distinct client. First of all, you should have confidence in yourself. He says there is no question of such a situation arising. You must make that statement clear. My client, I would have taught him well, and there was no question of any of my clients doing such a thing. Okay, first, that should have been your first strong statement, and thereafter you say, even if he's with me, maybe it's bad day, he's in bad mood, whatever it is. So I'll take 1 or 2. After that, I'll give him one solid one so that he also realizes that I can hit him much more than what he can hit me. मैं उसका हाथ पकड़ूंगा, ये करूंगा, वो नहीं, nothing work. You have to be of your age. You cannot be so docile. And especially if you're trying to join the armed forces, right? You have to be the same. So 1 or 2 first is okay as per my this thing. And you have done management and organization is a complete failure from my side. You have not given a thought. You did not hear my question. I asked you 3 specific questions. What planning will you do? What assistance will you ask from the principal? Thereafter, actual conduct. So planning, you should have told me this. I have got 4 of my friends. I would have requested them to assist me. I would have given them these following tasks to these 4 people. I would have advised them to do this as far as organizing the actual basket match. Other administrative requirements will be other chap. The third chap say with snacks, lights. Or you could have always said the school is arranging, the school will arrange their annual days there. I'm sure they must be having some tea. That shows little presence of mind ki yes, it is a school annual day function. So yours is part of it. It's a small program of say 1 hour maximum, 40 minutes match and total 5 minutes this side, that side, 1 hour program, right? So you have not shown this practicality, or you have not put your education, your management skills here, right? Have you understood my point?
Yes, sir.
Akash?
Yes,
have
sir.
you? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So you have to understand the questions, and every place you must give the correct answer analyzed as per your age, and there try to project yourself in a better way, right?
Right.
Now, Coast Guard, if I everything, first you should start, you have known ranks and all, everything. Who is interested in that much? That is for, GK test for some 12th class people, chap, not for you. For your organization is like this. This was organized with this in, this was formed with this in aim. What is the aim? How do they, coordinate with Navy? What all other tasks you're given? All of that. Those are minor tasks. Main task is security of the borders.
Duty and responsibility comes first, no? Then only the question will come. Duty, responsibility, organization.
Yeah. So that way, you have to get to all the answers to your age. As of now, I didn't find of that age or your education, especially. Okay. Yeah. Now you have any questions to ask?
No, sir.
Hmm?
No, sir.
Akash, let me just tell you one thing. There's nothing wrong with you. Right? Number 1.
Yes, sir.
Number 2, become confident. You're underconfident. Yeah? And use, you are overall underconfident. Use your resource. You can speak when you've got control over English. You can, if there's certain amount of connect you make while speaking, that is happening, that is got good qualities. Use that to your advantage. Okay, use that to your advantage. Listen to the question correct, intently, and try and answer to the point what he's asking for. And you must understand what impact it is going to make on the by. I always say you have to be virtual interviewing officer. You should not, in the answer that you will give it wrong, you have to be virtual interviewing officer. You have to give me something which I'm going to like. It is not the mathematical सवाल नहीं एक प्लस लिखने का ये या नहीं यहाँ पर है. You have to think that if I'm going to tell what impact would it have in the what is the you have to interesting, isn't it? So that the virtual, you have to be interview virtual. The what you speak, you think this is what the interview also will also speak when the same question is going to is put to him. That's a simple game of putting yourself in his shoe. What he would like to say, what he would have spoken. And with your age and maturity, there's nothing wrong. You have done everything. You are mature enough, you have had enough qualification, you have enough exposure, you should do that. That's the end of it. Okay? Best of luck. You can do well. Try and take control of yourself. They all don't take it. We are not trying to talk anything negative. We're just trying to put you on the side. Take it positively. If you got any doubt, you can ring me up. We can talk it out. Okay? Right then?
Sure, sir.
Best of luck.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, Kankadam. I think grateful to you for finding your time
Thank you,
for
sir.
such a short time. Thanks a lot. Thank you, sir. Bye. Okay. Akash.